Mangwana ni Mwalelepo Vukenjani Klekwa Svanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You are joined by Ashwin Berry. These are some of the top stories you can expect today. 8-hour load shedding begins in Zambia. Libyan leaders agree to form a unified government, and South Africa's ANC likely to lose parliamentary vote in May. Stay with Africa Good Morning as we also cross over to Scihula in Zambia as he brings us the top stories from there, and Ari will bring us some sport. Top stories after the break. Getting into our top stories, load shedding began in Zambia yesterday, and ZESCO has provided various channels customers and the public can get details on load management in their respective areas. Last month, ZESCO announced a substantial reduction in electricity generation at the Kariba North Bank Power Station for the year 2024. ZESCO Managing Director Victor Mapani revealed that the generation is expected to decrease 214 megawatts, a significant drop from 386 megawatts generated in 2023. This decline is attributed to the reduction in water levels at the Kariba Dam, which will adversely impact the power station's ability to generate electricity. Now in our next story, Mozambican President Filipe Nyusi laid the first stone for the paving of the Lioma, Mutuwali and Gurwe Nampevo roads in the central province of Zambezia. The project includes regular maintenance of the Nampevo, Gurwe and Majawa, Milange, Molumbo, Mogumo roads and will facilitate the circulation of people and goods between Zambezia and the neighboring province of Nampula. The work is financed by the Mozambican government in partnership with the European Union. It is part of a much larger project known as Promote Transport, which consists of the rehabilitation and maintenance of rural roads in Zambezia. The key parts of this project include paving 50 kilometers of National Highway N103, improving and resealing 125 kilometers of the Nampevo-Gurwe Road, and the paving and regular maintenance of sections of Highway R650. Now moving over next door, South Africa's African National Congress, ANC, is likely to lose its parliamentary majority in May for the first time since Nelson Mandela led it to power at the fall of apartheid 30 years ago, a survey showed, opening up the prospect of coalition rule. South Africans go to polls on May 29 to elect a new National Assembly, which will then choose the next president. A survey of voter opinion in February by Johannesburg-based think tank the Brenthurst Foundation and the SABI Strategy Group estimated support for the ANC at 39%, down from 41% in October and 44% in November 2022. The survey was modeled on the 66% turnout of the last general election in 2019, when the ANC got more than 57% of the vote. A result below 50% in May would mean the former liberation movement would be forced to enter into a coalition with smaller parties to govern the country. Now, some critics believe that Liberia's President Joseph Numa Boakai's corruption control efforts are mere posturing to attract some crumbs from the international community to support his government. President Joseph N. Boakai's 15-man assets recovery team has been placed under intense public scrutiny hours after it was announced on Friday. On Friday, March 8, the Executive Mansion published the names of 15 individuals whom it described as the core team, who are expected to follow and implement Executive Order No. 126, establishing the Office of Assets Recovery. However, discussions on several local radio stations revealed several hidden skeletons of individuals serving on the task force posts from his chairman Edwin Clau-Martins to other team members. A damaging social media post purportedly written by former Auditor General John Modu described President Boakai as following in the footsteps of his predecessors. Now, in some landmark news, representatives of Libya's rival administrations have pledged to form a unified government. The head of the country's presidential council, the Speaker of the Eastern House of Representatives, and the head of the Western High Council of State met on Sunday, 10 March, in Cairo, Egypt. The meeting was convened by the Arab League Secretary General. The attendees agreed on the following. First, emphasizing the sovereignty, independence, and the unity of the Libyan soil, and the rejection of any foreign intervention that affects the Libyan political process negatively, Ahmed Abu Gheit said. Second, considering the political agreement that follows it, a technical committee will be formed within a given time frame to look into the proper amendments that expand the base of consensus in the work that was executed by the 6+6 committee, and to finalize the unsettled matters regarding the points of disagreement in accordance to the legislations in force. Now, in the last of our top stories, we swing over to the U.S., where Donald Trump apparently will not fund Ukraine's fight against Russia's invasion if he's elected U.S. president again. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has said he will not give a penny in the Ukraine-Russia war. That is why the war will end, the conservative premier said after meeting Trump in Florida. The former U.S. president has pledged to end the war within 24 hours if elected, but provided no details. Orban is openly backing his long-term ally in the 2024 White House race. Ukraine cannot stand on its own feet, Orban told Hungary's M1 TV channel late on Sunday. If the Americans don't give money and weapons along with the Europeans, then the war is over. And if the Americans don't give money, the Europeans alone are unable to finance the war. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. As you know, we love to decentralize the news for you. So after the break, we're going to be talking to Mike Scihula, who is in Zambia, ready to bring us the latest news.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
All right, it's time for us to talk to Mike Scihula in Zambia as he brings us the latest news from the real Africa. Mike Budiwanji. All right, we're still waiting on Mike to join us, but these are some of the top stories that we're going to be covering with him. Youth across Zambia are today observing National Youth Day. And you know, when you think of Zambian youth, you think of global rapper Sampa the Great, you think Barbara Banda, who in fact was the second highest signing in all female football history. And of course, many achievements coming from Zambia. And I believe Mike is now here. Mike, good morning. Budiwanji. We seem to be having a problem with Mike Scihula. So as I was saying, today youth across Zambia are celebrating National Youth Day, which is certainly essential. And Zambia will this year host the Africa Land Forces Summit, which is scheduled from 22nd to 26th of April 2024. I believe the hashtag is Be The Change. And on a rather sad note, police in Lusaka are investigating the murder of 2 women. Mike, are you finally there?
Good morning. Apologies to our viewers. There was a technical hit there.
No problem there, Mike. We're going to try to get into our stories. Let's get back to the story of the National Youth Day being celebrated in Zambia.
Yes, so Zambia today observing the National Youth Day, whose theme is Zambia at 60, Be The Change. So the good thing about this year's commemoration is that President Hakainde Hichilema and the event will take place, the main event will take place in the eastern part of in Eastern Province. This is one of the cases where the president has been addressing days like the Youth Day from Lusaka. These cases have been held in Lusaka, but today the case will be held in the province at the DK state.
Unfortunately, Mike, our connection is not as solid as we would like it to be, but certainly in solidarity with Zambian youth as they celebrate National Youth Day. And the last of Mike's stories was going to be an energy expert calling on authorities to ban the importation of electric geysers. Of course, Mike will be able to fill us in on those stories and more on Friday. But for now, we're going to swing over to the weather.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Let's get into our economic news stories now. The United Kingdom has announced new rules to radically cut net immigration and tackle visa abuse as part of the government's plan to bring down unsustainable levels of legal migration. Under the new rules, care workers are now prohibited from bringing dependents. This decision was prompted by the fact that a disproportionate 120,000 dependents accompanied 100,000 workers on the route last year. Home Secretary James Cleverly MP admitted the invaluable contribution of care workers to the country. However, the government justifies taking action against clear abuse, manipulation of our immigration system, and unsustainable migration numbers. The measure is part of a comprehensive package of reforms that will be promptly implemented, preventing a total of 300,000 eligible individuals who would have been able to come to the UK last year from doing so. A total of 141,000 Nigerians migrated to the United Kingdom between June 2022 and the year ending June 2023. Now, digital lenders are seeking Central Bank of Kenya guidance on the documents required to unlock more than 400 applications awaiting clearance for the award of licenses. The Digital Financial Services Association of Kenya, an umbrella body for digital loan providers, says while it welcomes the recent award of 19 additional licenses, clear guidance from the CBK on details of the prerequisite documents will help speed up the process. CBK has received 480 applications for digital lending licenses since March 2022, but has so far cleared 51, keeping 429 waiting over what it terms pending documentation. Those have been our economic news stories on Africa Good Morning. Let's have a look at the economic indicators. Now moving back to Namibia, Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism Pohamba Shifeta says that reporting tool transforms data collection and management systems into an integrated and connected formula that drives decision-making for conservation actions. He further added that the path forward includes digitizing archiving systems and establishing data management platforms. Have a look.
What empowers us to measure things in one approximation, patrol efforts, university species, protected area infrastructure, human water conflict among others. Smart provides a platform for the implementation of our park management plans. Through Smart, we can control threats for wildlife and their habitat, and secure threatened species survival. Director ceremonies. Our path forward includes digitizing archiving systems, establishment of real-time central data management platforms, and the incorporation of a comprehensive workflow system. These steps will empower us to streamline operations, improve efficiency, and make data accessible to decision makers, practitioners, and stakeholders.
So Smart, as I said, originally started out as a quite simple system. We only collected patrol data. The data were recorded on data sheets and manually entered into the system using an old-fashioned Garmin GPS. But now we have a really sophisticated platform that allows for the collection of multiple different kinds of data, allows for navigation in the app, a cloud platform that allows for centralized management and sharing of data. You can collect data in smart profiles, which I know many of you are using about individual entities. You can collect information from tourists, tour guides. There's a plugin for the R Statistics program. And many of these features have come directly from all of you. One of the things that I think has helped to make Smart successful is that we listen to our users, and indeed, we are your users. Many of the people in this room, in addition to the conservation work that they do on the ground, are directly involved with the creation of Smart. And one of the goals of this conference is to continue to get feedback from you on how we can improve Smart and how we can make Smart do what you need it to do.
You're still with Africa. Good morning. It's time to get the sports news from Ari Hochad.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with soccer news first. The soccer news from the English Premier League, a very exciting English Premier League. There's 28 games played, and the top three, there's only 1 point separating them. At the moment, it's Arsenal on 64 points. Also on 64 points is Liverpool, and Arsenal on top because of goal difference. And then Manchester City, the defending champion, on 63 points, just 1 point back. This coming weekend, there's no games to be played in the English Premier League. There's just 10 league games left, but it's FA Cup games that will be played this coming weekend. And in the FA Cup, it will be Manchester City that will play against Newcastle. That will be a home game for Manchester City. Then a massive game also, it is Manchester United that will host Liverpool. That is quarterfinals of the FA Cup. So the next English Premier League games will be the weekend of the 30th and the 31st of March again. And then it will be Liverpool that will play at home against Brighton, and a massive game Manchester City that will host Arsenal, and that game is on the 31st of March. Continuing international sports news with golf news, and it is Scotty Scheffler, the men's world #1 golfer. He won the Arnold Palmer Invitational over the weekend, and he confirmed his #1 ranking in the world at the moment. His total was -15 for the 4 rounds, followed by Wyndham Clark on -10 and Shane Lowry on -9. The Live Golf Breakaway League continued in Hong Kong. Players that's playing in that league, they don't qualify for world rankings, so it's quite controversial at the moment. The winner there in Hong Kong for Live Golf was Abram Anser, and he also won $4 million US. Actually, Scotty Scheffler also won $4 million US in the Arnold Palmer Invitational. But the difference is Abram Anser didn't get any world ranking points. At the moment, he's ranked number 183 in the world, and his lowest ranking a few years ago was 11th in the world. And moving on to MotoGP racing, it's motorcycle racing, and it was the first MotoGP race of the year. It was the Grand Prix of Qatar. It was at the Lusail circuit, and a great start for Brad Binder of South Africa on his KTM. He came in second, and it's a great performance. He was surrounded by lots of Ducatis, and it was the Ducati of Francesco Bagnaia that won, and it also in third place, it was Jorge Martin also in his Ducati in third position. So a great performance by Brad Binder on his KTM for the first race of the season. And to conclude today's international sports news, it is cycling news. It was the Paris-Nice cycle tour that was concluded. It's one of the grand tours, very high prestige on that tour. And it was Matteo Jorgensen of the United States that won the 8-stage race. And in third position was another American, that was Brendan McNulty. In second position was Remco Evenepoel. It was Matteo Jorgensen that beat Remco Evenepoel by 30 seconds into second position. It's the first time since 2006 that an American cyclist won the Paris-Nice, and in 2006 it was Floyd Landis that won the Paris-Nice. So great performance by Matteo Jorgensen of the USA, winning the Paris-Nice 2024. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Thank you for starting your day with Africa Good Morning. Let's have a look at the highlights from this morning's broadcast. Eight-hour load shedding in Zambia begins. Mozambican President Filipe Nyusi laid the first stone for the paving of the Lioma, Mutuwali and Gruen Nampevo roads in the central province of Zambezia. And the United Kingdom bans foreign healthcare workers from bringing dependents over. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. Thank you for joining us. You do always find us on DSTV 285, Core TV 25, 1up2.com, NTV on Facebook, the Africa Good Morning page on Facebook. Everywhere you need to find us, you absolutely can. From me, Ashwin Betty, I certainly hope you have a wonderful day. Siraja Kanaka.